Alright, J. Dumont, Serpent in the Staglands. Let's go. Last episode we crossed the bridge. And now we're heading to where Erline marked on the map, which I have to come back in here and check the map. Feels good to play this game and make progress, because it's one of those like obscure ones that you really have to pay attention to. Not pay attention to, but down there. But just figure out yourself. So it's pretty cool to go right here. There it is, Emerald Metallis console. Let's go meet Erline's brother. I think it's his brother. Let's get it. Native. Get in there. Want this XP. Oh, we died. Well, we have some edibles. Let's eat some edibles. Catalina. What do we have here? An edible heart. Another edible heart. And a biscotti. That should be good. Let's go. See if I can quick save here. On loading screens, health potions and reviving foods cannot be consumed on pause. We know that. Let's get them. Hey, why'd they come after us? Come on, soldiers, do your thing. We're gonna die again. Heck yeah, I picked up those crystallized daggers +2. What's going on here? Why are there natives attacking? Chickens, what do you know about this atrocity? Catalina says, "My lord, I know that this is where I meant to leave you, but I'd like to stay if you'll have me. I'm not much good for the temple. I know Erline keeps me guarding the grounds because he does not trust me with the tomes. I'd rather carry on with you if you don't mind. I'd appreciate it. Glad to have you around more." Settlers, children. To find a library. What ho, chickens. My lord, Erline said I should leave you at this point. I've helped guide you here. Please excuse me now so I might return to my duties. Very well, I'll miss you, but I understand. Be of good courage and return safely. As you shake hands and prepare to part ways, Wilhelm begrudgingly mentions intentions to return to Lumen. Yeah. Well, it's just you and I, Catalina. And a bunch of chickens. Squire. Yes. How fares the consul? Beleaguered and tense, if you hadn't noticed. Everyone is afraid to leave and afraid to stay. Not sure if they're safer here than tucked away in a hovel in the wilderness. Groups of armed natives keep trying to slip past our guards, but they've yet to amass at our gates. What's the counselor's plan? Ask the counselor. He might have need of someone with knowledge of the roads. I know he and the captain are brewing some sort of plan, though the whole business seems hopeless to me. I'll do that, thanks. Constable. Aye? Do you have any bounties up? With the native attacks of late, our attention has been off local villains. May have once we're back to normal, Spicer. Excuse me, I have matters to attend to. Counselor. Yes? Crossing through Emerald Metalis and wish to meet the leader in charge. And what did you think of our war-torn land? I'm surprised you're alive to greet me. The raids from rebelling native tribes have been unrelenting as of late. Indeed, I feel lucky to be standing here and plan to revitalize myself and purchase supplies in your inn and shops. Good luck. I'm ashamed to admit how low our stocks are with the lack of caravans willing to risk the journey here. And where do your travels take you? I'm intrigued by a merchant willing to take on such a risk for what little profit our district has to offer right now, unless you're on your way to pay homage to the Varukov king. No, I'm not headed toward the Varukov courts, unless you know of a reason I should. I can only think of reasons you should not. He's not very approachable. You must think odd I'm so inquisitive, but I'm actually in need of one willing to risk the roads. The pay will be worth your while. Are you interested? Yes. I'm sure you know the natives are organized and planning to attack our consul, and in desperation we're willing to open diplomatic relations, mayhap even restoring some lands and rights. They'll attack our ambassadors on sight, but they will not attack merchants that ride into their camps peacefully, as they need supplies as much as we do. All you have to do is deliver a gift, a rare soothing magic salve, and a note. I can do that. You'll find the ambassador camp not far from the village. I recommend bringing a skilled linguist so you can speak their language. I believe there's one currently haunting the library. The witch will include a note in their glyphs, and if you find yourself short on an interpreter, just hand it over and look guileless. Can I find the witch? At the end, I'll alert her you're on your way. Come back when you've handed over the gift, and I'll see you well rewarded. Very well. I didn't take any notes on that. Foolishly. But, let's see what happens. We'll wing it. So is this the end? What ho in? Augustine. Aha. I do hate when travelers tread dirt all through my library. The inn is through the doors, just a few paces south. Try to step lightly and watch your weapons. I'm looking for the brother of Erline of Lumen Fortin. Seems you found him. For what purpose did my brother send you? He's like a busy little mother hen, scolding and pecking and flopping at his chickens in his temple. If it's a letter nagging me about deciphering those runes, you can just toss it in the fire. I still haven't received word from the scholar I sent to the native caverns. He sent me here to seek your aid. I'm a patron of the temple and I'm looking for answers to some questions. I suppose out of familial obligation I should hear you out. I'd never hear the story of it otherwise. What questions would you ask of me? Do you know of anyone who would wish Erline ill? He's well liked by the Lumen Holdings for all his pompousness. He provides amply for his flock. It's possible he's inspired jealousy for the temple. is rich when the Staglands are poor, and to his credit, he refuses to get involved in politics and play power games with the guild heads, who collect political and noble patrons and use them to maneuver around each other. I know of no one in particular, however. Do you know of any reason someone would be angry at the Moon Lord? Is that a joke? You're standing in a whole district still wroth with Nikolai for guiding Amethyvian colonists to the shores of Corum and thus enabling them to take over the peninsula, just as the Varkos finally decided it was safe to leave their hideout in the mines and reclaim the land. It's not really the Moon Lord's fault. It's not like he did it out of spite. Yes, but the dismay and appointment that shook the Varkov race was intense, and they needed a scapegoat. They are not a forgiving race. Do you know where I can find other temples of the... Why were they underground in the first place if it was their land? For the answer to that, you'll have to torture a Varkov historian. It is not commonly known even amongst our race. One could assume that only great fear of extinction drove our ancestors below ground, but what sparked that fear is taboo to speak of. Shouldn't they also be angry at the natives? From what I understand, they have been in the Staglands for some time. Yes, but the natives don't pose a threat that the Amethyvians do, for the barbarian tribes are easy enough to disperse with the real army. But the Purples come with technology and a government and a colonizing plan, and what they've settled they've held out of stubborn determination. Do you know where I can find other temples of the gods? I try to avoid temples as a general rule, but with the natives' hollowed doors is some sort of shrine to the Wandering Lady, although the whereabouts of that are unknown. There are priests of the Carrion God and Trickster God, and maybe even the Spring or Foraging God wandering the streets of Corum, if you wish to engage in some dry religious pedantry. Who's the Wandering Lady? She's the goddess of portals, and has dwelt in the Staglands on and off, probably since the deities first walked Vol. All linking magic is drawn from her, and she's the master of paths, just as the Carrion God is a master of death. She seems to inspire particularly obsessive loyalty from the natives. Why is her shrine hidden? That is a question you'll have to ask the natives. I imagine, though, it is merely because they do not like us. Why is she named a Wanderer? That is a question you'll have to ask the natives. Okay. Wait, did I say that? I'll leave you be. I'd like to look around your library. Very well, but try not to damage anything. My library is very dear to me. The written word is rare above ground. Thank you. So the Wandering Lady. Oh, hello. Map of ruins. The Wandering Lady is the god of portals. Menadora. Hello. Ooh. Kinds of goodies. Menadora, yes. I heard there was a linguist in the library and was hoping it was you. Not sure you'd think why I'd risk my life in such a way. My plans are peaceful, and I'm sure they wouldn't attack a merchant. You'll have a chance to see runes outside of dusty tomes. I'm a scholar, not a milkmaid, and I'm aware the natives are unpredictable, and there's no way of knowing who they find offensive. No thank you, I'll remain here. I understand, I'll leave you to your studies. Bah. So she can speak the native's tongue, so it seems we have to find this Wandering Lady. Let's make a note of it in our journal. The natives know about her. I don't have 100 emeralds, but I will once I sell some of this stuff. Where did he say you'll find the inn? A few paces. I out of here. Who's this? Talk to me. The end must be done this way. Really digging this game. I like how it's kind of like a mystery. Solve the mystery of your own wits. Not that it's all that demanding of your wits, but more so than most so far. Is this the end? Shopkeep. What can I do for you? Got anything worth looking at? Now, wares are limited, but the likely the most you'll find in all of Emerald Metallis. Sorry state that it's in. You can look if you like. Alright. First of all, Matthias can use the rawhide boots. No, he has oxhide boots. Catalina can use the rawhide boots. Crystallized dagger +2. The style origins of this dagger are certainly of foreign lands, though you couldn't guess from where. It comprises of an alloy of what appears to be tempered bronze and some sort of shimmering crystal, has pretty in appearance as a sharpened point. It's a single edge without any guard and has a simple leather wrap in the handle, weaved and finely knotted at the end of the hilt. A good deal of smithing knowledge and skill was used to create this dagger. This finely crafted leaf blade has a bone hilt around the guard. It has a double-edged, straight leaf-shaped blade, and with the inclusion of fullers, has little weight for faster usability compared to the longer, heavier weapons. The weapon style derives from the Amethyvians and has been recreated in the Staglands by the settlers that came. It's made of tempered iron and has a large pommel, making the blade very balanced. 43. Let's give that to Catalina. Using 3d3, that's fine. They're fast, but they're 1d7. I'll sell those and the axe. Something you might be interested in purchasing. $250, so how much for the axe? 4? We'll take it. 27. 27. Brewing pouch, minor healing, Bloodless Hunter expedition. A few loose pieces of parchment from a larger collection detailing the Bloodless Hunters expedition found tucked within their map. You gather them together chronologically and wrap them in twine. Right click to read. I also picked up a map of ruins or something. Where's that? Finely wrapped piece of parchment and sinew twine. While there's no seal markings, a thickly inked Quantitativus Hunt marks the top. Below it is a map of the exploration of the Staglands from a little less than a decade past. Okay, so I'm going to keep a crystallized dagger in case we get the linguist. Even though we can't currently afford the linguist. Let's read some of these maps. Map of ruins. Bloodless Hunt, 5th Odyssey, Western Peninsula, Staglands, Tomb, locations found. Okay. Let's put this over here. And put this down here. What's this Bloodless Expedition? The 5th Odyssey of Quantitativus Bloodless Hunt. We've sent these research notes back to the eastern town of the peninsula we passed through as we traveled deeper west, as to keep record and honor our matron deity's great task. 1231. Our hunt has seen many generations before us, and though we are but a small sect that came from the eastern band, our pursuit has become increasingly apparent. A brood exists in this western realm. They've attacked us as a violent mist at sea and in moonlight nights with their enslaved. We've all but survived the fight thus far, and have begun mapping the lands out for ruins and underground layers where the brood may lay in hiding. We've lost Hantrib to that insidious bog. Resistant as we are not prepared for the poisons that surrounded us. We managed to heal ourselves and find shelter in a small village within Tratus Saltus. We buried Hantrib west of that town in a small grove of trees after we departed, better supplied for surviving their unusual land. We left him with his silver sword, so the bloodless may find a deadly trap upon desecrating his remains. Though the hunt has ended, ours continues west. A year later. After stopping in a barter town, we traveled south to the village within Emerald Metalis and over a great man-made bridge to fertile lands, and have since begun circling to a great body of water in the middle of the peninsula. Ambushed, we've slain a great bloodlust that came upon us in the night. By means of a demon wolf, his fangs tore through flesh like a knife through water, his black fur so thick it shined like scales, unbroken by iron. He slayed 3 of us before we finally extinguished his life with a silvered sword through its black heart. We burned his remains and set off with the rising day to continue to find the brood's dwelling. Iktaka has abandoned us in the night. We know not if he was taken by our enemy or fled in fear of another attack. He left us with his holy weapons, though took a great share of wealth we've accumulated. 3 years later, we've completed mapping the peninsula and believe we've uncovered the whole of the underground layers they would reside in, though we don't believe we've found the brood's source. There remains nothing but haunted woods and icy winds farther west. 2 ruins are empty save their ancient symbols, which we've since recorded and remain highly toxic. Simple torch is all we needed to fend off the mist, though the other men acquiring special tonics to speed our efforts. One of the ruins in the area has since been converted to a temple whose god seems harmless and cleric. A good Verikov named Erline was generous enough to house us. His library has many decades of research of the land, and we've left Venomous to remain in account for anything we may need. We relayed this letter to him to be sent to Emerald Metalis, where we'll regroup after completing our task. We were escorted with a merchant caravan traveling north. Had we known one of the party was enslaved, he took all but a few of our holy weapons in the night before vanishing south. We searched for days for his trail, but his host must have covered his tracks well. He have sent a hunter south to any villages to see what she can find, for our hunt ceases until we are more prepared. Until we find further supplies, we have made camp in the west in the area called Istakale to the locals in a grove of trees. We don't leave these lands until Quantitativ's will is enacted. We continue the hunt. Okay. We need to sleep. Where can I sleep? Innkeep. Perfect. Greeting, Spicer. Greeting. What services do you offer? Rooms cost 5 emeralds. Got some nice beds down deeper in the caverns for you. You get the most serene night's sleep of your life there. I'll take it. Take any bed that's open. You won't regret it. Excellent. Alright, we're all healthy now. Hello there. Ho there. What ho? I don't really want to bind the linguist's soul, but I'd rather... Do we even need a linguist? I've got a point in linguist. Is there such need for one? Herb witch. Share, get off the pot. Come again? You're hovering over my shoulder like a bat while I'm luring. What do you need? The counselor said you had an unguent for me? The witch stops twitching and fills a jar with a soft perfumed salve, seals it with a wax stamp, and attaches a pre-written note with twine. Take the unguent. Fly away now. Farewell, wench. And I have to deliver that where? Oh, this is awkward. Where am I? Is there a secret stash down here? I'm interested in secret stashes. Hello, soldiers. Captain of the guard. Well, I can't aid you with any military stuff. Oh yeah, we're cleaning up, bro. Cleaning up, bro. Wow. Look at all this stuff we're finding. was the secret stash down here? I guess I could get the linguist. I'd really rather hire that soldier that was on the bridge too. We don't usually encourage civility down here, so unless you need something, you'd best be marching back onto the mountainside. Just wondering if you needed the services of a spice merchant. Heard everyone in the consul was low on supplies. My soldiers don't need your fancy spices. Give them too much luxury and they'll go soft. Spices aren't just used for seasoning. They can ease digestion, enhance tisanes, or keep you from going slowly mad trapped in an underground cavern. Easy digestion, you say? I've never heard of a spice that did that, and frankly I'm skeptical that you're not just an opportunist conning us in wartime. But if it's real, we paid good emeralds for it. Got barrels of service-side mushrooms that we can't eat because we can't stomach it, but if we could have enough food to withstand a year-long siege, I might be able to find something that will help you. I might have something already that can help. The captain rummages through your bag. I don't see anything here we haven't tried. Thanks anyway. Come back if you find something else. Alright. Wait, go back in. Okay. Go back out. Okay, and we're back here. Excellent. How many emeralds do we have? 126. Do I really want to hire the linguist? You know, I'm going to quick save and see what she's all about. If she's got a 2 in linguistics, she can stay. If she's got a 1, she's going back. That's my policy. Pretend that this is like I asked her for her skills and she responded. Alright, Minadora. Can I ask what you're studying? Languages, mainly the native language. It seems simple on first glance, but it's surprising in its complexity when you begin to grasp it. Do you sympathize with their cause? I understand why they are angry, but it does not justify violence. A more subtle approach, diplomacy and a desire to live peaceably would have taken them further. Looking for someone good with languages. I'll pay you 100 emeralds. Can't spend emeralds if you're dead, which I inevitably will be if I come with you. I'm sorry, but I must decline your offer, as rich as it is. What? Alright, let me see if I bind her soul. It's too bad. I'm dearly in need of a linguist. If you won't come of your own will, you'll come by mine. Before she can move away, you grab her shoulder as if you were a prisoner. As if she were your prisoner, and feel the vitality of her blood coursing in her veins, the static whip of nerve endings, the steady drum of her heart. Digging deeper, you find her soul, vulnerable and ripe, and whispering the incantation known only to the gods, you mark her soul as yours. Come, gather your scrolls. We'll be leaving now. New companion, yeah. Alright, let's see what she knows. Whoa! She's good with linguistics. Alright, so let me see with her incantation book, right? Oh yeah, she's got all the good stuff. Wow. I binded her soul though. I feel bad about doing it. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm not going to bind her soul. Because that seems like a very bad thing to do. can't believe I'm doing that. Augustine, I have more questions for you. You tell me about Erline, I'd be interested in a brother's opinion. He takes our ancient family vow to protect the Moon Lord so seriously, as if he is the conduit of all mortal connections to the god himself. As if the god visits him. Poor man, puffed up with his own self-importance and can't see how ridiculous he appears. How did your family become the protectors of the Moon Lord? Don't Verikov dislike Nikolai for bringing the Amethyvians? My misguided ancestors were obsessed with unlocking the secrets of the illumination arts, believing only light would eventually bring our race out of our underground holdings. They claimed that Nikolai only drew his gaze on drowning boats of the first colonists because their spells in the emerald mines had attracted his attention toward the Staglands. But how do you know Erline doesn't have a connection with the god? I grew up in that temple, and the closest thing I saw to Nikolai was a full moon in the sky. It's just a tale of a mantle passed from father to eldest child in my family to make the villagers respect our authority. I left as soon as I was of age to be among our true people. Indeed, only an idiotic god would come to the peninsula and consort with the mortals. No good can come of that. Indeed. Anyway, why have you come to my library? Wish to peruse your scrolls and tomes? Okay. We've already done that. So where do I have to take this gift to? Come again, counselor? Happy to see you returned. I've not left yet, excuse me. I have to take this to the natives or something. Oh, it's probably a note with it. Small snapping muscles potion. A potion crafted by herbology lorist that increases attack speed by 0.3 for 6 seconds. Poison antidote. Didn't the witch give us something? Witch's unguent. A perfumed greasy salve, tightly sealed and wrapped in twine. Well, we seem to have explored this area. It's pretty much time to go. But we do have emeralds to play with. Let's at least go see what the shopkeeper has. Gonna save 50 to give to that mercenary for a hired sword. Alright. I picked up cloak, a bronze pointed helm, dodge chance -1, but armor class, attack speed goes up, which is not good. CS, pointed bronze helm with the chain half hood draping around the base. The large eye holes provide a large field of view, and the lack of a full hooded chain allows for more comfort in head movement and ample protection for the entire neck. Longbow. Still a longbow, but you know what? Rusty helmet. What's CS? Casting speed? Cast speed. Armor class. Physical damage. Armor class. Alright. What if he equips the longbow? .43 arrows. Let's try that for a while. DC -1, that's DC -2. Let's give her that. He can wear that helmet. Light cloak woven from thick sheep wool. It's a little itchy. Its surface will cover your armor and equipment and provides good insulation. It is dyed a mossy green and has speckles of various other colors throughout the fabric. Catalina has an acolyte cloak. So we'll put this cloak on. For whatever it does. Now let's see what the shopkeep has. Alright. Oxhide boots. We'll save our money. Take the salted meat. And oh, this goes up, this goes down, this goes all the way down. Or something, I don't know. I'll take the biscotti too. Excellent. My good man. Now we're supposed to deliver something to natives or something? How are we going to do that? Catalina cannot use bash with this weapon. I hope there's not a time limit. Great foes can be successfully challenged with the use of aptitudes. Cursing, laying traps, or commanding will give the advantage to a weaker party. Alright, let's go higher. Arbiter, no need, you already inspected me, I was just here. You think I've never heard that one before? Seems like your documents are in order though. Take your goods and be gone. What was that dude? Mikalus. Still need some hired help? Indeed, I was hoping you were still lingering here. I'll stick with you for the rest of the season for 50 emeralds. Seems reasonable. I'll draw up the contract and the road so we can be off now. As you say, let's go. New companion. Catalina cannot use bash with this weapon. That's not good, and I sold her axe. Oh well. Was this guy? Whoa, he's strong. He's perceptive. He's got no aptitudes. He's got no spells. But he's got war. Critical slash. Any melee weapon. Hone your sword arm to be able to land attacks on any enemy, ensuring each attack is as deadly and intentional as you need it to be. Skill level 2. Plus 1d2 to physical damage. Skill mod roll. Plus 6.16 seconds to attack speed. An assassin. Any weapon. Refine your ability to kill other mortals. With more knowledge on your enemies, you can make more proficient attacks in killing any of the common mortals. 1d2 additional physical damage roll against humans. Alright, so he's got some gears of war. Whoops. Cool. Alright, he'll be handy. Any other reason to be at the bridge? There was a big place to go into right here. See what it is. Pretty cool stuff. Whoops, didn't see you there. You alright? I'm fine, just clumsy. I've gotta run. Pa's waiting. Item removed from inventory. He stole something from me. He stole my Spicer trading papers. What ho, child? Come. What? What ho, child? What ho? Arbiter, I'd like to report a crime. What's the state of the roads? Full of filthy natives and not enough caravans to fill our coffers with taxes. Plenty of smugglers, though. Not even the threat of raiders and bandits will keep them in their hovels. Opportunists and scum, every one of them. Natives on the bridge? They stick to their camps in the wilderness mostly, only coming out to raid the defenseless and vulnerable. Not our problem, though. Emerald Metalis does not seek our aid. Why not? Politics beyond me, Spicer. Seek an audience with the Council or an Emerald Metalis if you'd like a lesson on power plays and intrigue. Excuse me, my meat is getting cold. Thanks for the tips, buddy. He stole our papers, man. Claudio? Hello? Yes? Are you a merchant? I'm a trader of sorts. What items do you seek? Spices and exotics mostly. If you have anything of interest to trade, I'd be willing to strike a deal. I don't have any goods at the moment, but I do have something that might interest one such as yourself. I was down near the mines at the last full moon and happened upon an odd woman harvesting a spice she called Lycic on her roof. Lycic. Said she fertilized it with ground harvester eggs and make the most bland meal a feast. Interesting. Which mining town was she near? I'll sell you a map, cheese because I like you, just 15 emeralds. You'll be able to sell her spices at an exorbitant price in Corm to the merchants there. The bakers there are crazy for it. I'll take it. Good doing business with you. Make sure you show her the map. She'll know it's for me and she'll give you the good stuff. Travel well. Oh, nice. Weird potions. Petronella? Let's see what's here. Locked. That's a first. How now, Spicer? Come in here. I've been waiting for someone just like you to stumble into my lap. Well, not my lap, more like my purse, but you know what I mean. I'm a spice merchant as well. We're kindred spirits, really. Tell me, do you have your documents on hand? Not anymore. I seem to have misplaced them. Oh, how dreadful, and here I was hoping you might help me out of my awful scraps. My documents have wandered off as well, and the guards at the gate will not let me pass without finding me down to my last emerald for carting exotics without papers. Not sure how I can help you. I harvested this mushroom powder myself in Wood's Edge. I swear it's good. If you take this vial off my hands, I'll be so grateful. I'll only charge you half what I was going to sell it for. There's a shopkeep in Emerald Talus Council who will buy it for 300 emeralds. I don't have the emeralds. If I had my documents, I'd gladly help, but I have no wish to pay fines myself. I'm sorry. Let's make a note of this. Spice, trade, money, opportunity. Alright, so Patronella at Inn on Orph's Bridge has spices for emerald, metallus, 150 emeralds needed, 300 gained. Perfect, and I will be right back. And we're back. Sweet. Don't know how to pick locks. Traveler, no. Gosislav. Yes? What are you doing out here? Old Gosislav's just a humble farmer, no one minds me. These wee orphans and I do our best out here, good lads. Don't know what I'd do without them in their nimble hands. They look rather underfed, must be a hard life. Aye, but they love their old Gostislav. Mayhap you have food to spare, though. Poor Vlad here is too sick to go begging, hasn't eaten in a few days. I'd share my portion with him, but he never lets me, the sweet boy. Might have a few emeralds to spare, I'll check. Gostislav is ever so grateful. I'll hold on to them until he's better. Vlad is too lumpish to speak, but Gostislav knows he will ever bless the good spicer. Make sure he gets those. Anthramin spice? Is that the spice that... Spice harvested from the valvular glands of giant spiders, valued for both its scarcity and flavor it adds to meat and baked goods. Like many exotic goods in North's Bridge, the Consul prefers to control the trade of it and heavily taxes anyone trying to cross the border with unsanctioned files. Would that be something that maybe... I don't know if I made a journal in it. Let's add another note. Spice needed for digestion at Emerald Metallus. Captain of the guard needs a spice that aids digestion. Because we remember that. Maybe that's the spice. Up we go. Sweet. Krina. How now? Have you come to join our gang? The more the merrier, right, my friends? Don't mind me, I'm a few drinks south of sober. Pray, what does your merry gang do? We're traders, of course. We relieve good travelers like yourselves of your goods, and in return we let them live. Fair bargain, wouldn't you say? Indeed, that's a fine shirt you're wearing and some decent boots. Fancy a trade? Not at the moment. I would hate to draw my weapon against a drunk, so I'll be leaving. And have you spread tales to the gold cloaks below? I think not, friend. Very well, the world will not miss your likes. Oh, we're in trouble. We're in a lot of trouble. Yeah. We haven't saved. Alright. Back to the quick save, where we probably saved back in Emerald Metallis. Points in intelligence or occult or both unlock new grades in your spellbook. I already see I messed up my character build. Can't go up, so we go down. Talk to Godoslav. I don't know the point of that. A gemmed willow wand. That's worth a lot. Innkeep. Traveler. We still don't have our papers. That kid stole our papers. The craftsmen of Runum and Corum are known for their rare but powerful magic wares. So now I'm not really sure where to go. Vlad, you have goods. +2 bronze, wow. Gemmed willow wand. Forged from a northern willow, this commonly designed wand has a strong but magical aura, though it's not in the least overwhelming. Embedding in small engraved runes along its length are tiny chipped gems of various types. Resonates a slight heat when held, and the grip is chiseled with a dotted design. Citrine amulet, a glowing yellow amulet that seems to be almost pulsating with a fierce bright energy. Take it. What do we do with the gemmed willow wand? Casting speed, spell resistance, spell dodge chance 1. Good enough. Yeah, no, I'm not so sure where to go. can't cross the bridge without getting taxed now. But that's kind of where we have to go, isn't it? I have an idea. Let's go to FLUENT. Where are you going? Let's come back here and fight dogs.